What's up, gamers? It's been a while, hasn't it? Well, today I'm going to be talking about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, more specifically the gameplay mechanics. From the epic combat upgrades to body bonding fun, this sequel is packed with thrills and spills. Get comfortable as I am about to list all the cool and poor elements about this game. Let's begin. I have a lot to say about the gameplay mechanics and how they are vastly improved, being far more enjoyable and fleshed out than the initial iteration of the series. That is what we all should expect to see when it comes to developing a sequel to a turn-based RPG battle mechanic. However, it's also come with a few losses that felt like they would have alleviated many issues I've had in terms of repetitiveness and quality of life. RDG improves upon their turn-based combat system by introducing new methods of attacking the enemies. We all know by now that they introduced the ability to move around, which wasn't present in the original. Well, this has created a whole new way to interact with your teammates, but first you need to bond with them in order to take advantage of it. I liked how if you took the time to bond with your partners, you'd unlock new ways you can interact with them in combat. These would include tag team ultimate combo attacks, the typical follow-up attacks if the enemy happens to fall or ragdoll near them, and the new addition of being able to combo attack an enemy simply by walking towards a fellow team member and pressing the attack button. Not to mention, they reworked it so that if you do a normal attack you regenerate MP. Therefore, if you did the combo, both the current character and the teammate benefit in terms of regenerating MP. The tag team duo combos have also been reworked, from being separately performed outside the sandbox to being performed within the sandbox, with the additional benefits of buffering both parties and not also costing MP, but instead utilizing a brand new addition, the hype meter, that each character gets but requires you to at least complete the first drink link with each character. To be able to do drink links, you'll need to bond with your teammates. This is another mechanic that has been overhauled from the original, resulting in a much better system. No longer do you have to worry about losing potential bond EXP due to an artificial lock that forces you to do a bond episode in order to surpass it and continue leveling up your bond with said specific character. In Infinite Wealth, you can simply continue increasing your bond with said ally to the max, that being 100 or 50 before you even want to sit down and start a drink link episode with said team member. I'd say it is very easy to increase the bond levels with your party members. You can do it simply by buying them gifts around town, completing the newly added bond bingo system, doing team talks around the sandbox environment, and generally just fighting battles with them in the party. An additional improvement they added to the game is the ability to pick and select certain skills to attach onto another job career. Therefore, you wouldn't lose out on your favorite skills while trying to master another job role. This is completely different from how it was achieved in the previous game, as back then you were only able to inherit just 2 predetermined skills from each job class, and were not able to pick and decide which one you want. You can identify them easily just by looking at the red circles to the left of the skill. In Infinite Wealth, you are able to pick 5 different normal skills from different job classes and 1 essence skill to transfer over. You can tell RDG tried to balance this by making it so that you have to increase each character's bond individually to certain levels in order to unlock the slots to place a skill in them. The Hawaii sandbox is pretty massive, and what comes with a massive landscape is a segue for easy traversals across locations if you don't want to use a taxi, or if a taxi is not in the location you want to get to, and running there would be a pain. It's just generally another option if you want to explore the island. You can also use it in Jinsho and Kamurocho. The one difference to the skateboards or hoverboards in Lost Judgment is that you have to actually maintain the battery life of the Segway. You can increase the capacity by buying battery packs from the prawn shop. Be careful you don't try to rush into a car in front of you, otherwise your Segway could explode. If you don't feel like controlling your Segway, you can also cruise control with it, meaning you don't have to interact with your controller at all. Do understand that this can sometimes go against you, as your character does not seem to avoid enemies in front of you, ultimately forcing you into a battle with an enemy rather than taking you to the location. Although they did add a convenient showdown button prompt when in the battle initiation phase. Basically, when the button is pressed, it can instantly eliminate weak enemies without you even having to do anything. They've also added the feature where you can avoid triggering an unwanted battle by running away from their radius. I wish they made it so that if you walked casually in front of them and did not bump into them, they will ignore you unless, you deliberately walk into a sketchy alleyway or try to steal their loot when they are clearly guarding a treasure chest. As I briefly mentioned, Hawaii is not the only open world sandbox you can explore. You can traverse Jinsho and Kamurocho. However, they do require you to continue playing the story in order to unlock them fully. They have also improved the job changing system as well, as now you have several locations to change careers rather than the one location in the previous game, being Hello Earth. Speaking of new careers, they've added several more and 2 DLC careers. To acquire them, you need to visit Alo Happy Tours, which unfortunately you unlock only after being in Chapter 5. Not only that, you need to fork over in-game cash, as instead of it being a career job you unlock, you instead get them from a revelation after paying for a tour experience. It's not a bad concept at all, and personally I don't mind it, as it kinda makes sense since you're technically on holiday. Let's just say that without me going into spoiler territory. But the problem here is that the tour posters don't explicitly tell you what jobs you unlock for said activity. If you're going to unlock them all anyways like me, it's then not a problem, but if you wanted a specific job you would have to figure it out by some other means. Here are some weaknesses and and issues I've found from my first playthrough. The material exchange shop is all the way out in the sea, meaning you have to literally swim to the location and interact with the merchant in order to convert your smaller materials into bigger materials so then you can craft much stronger weapons. Swimming in the game is good and all, but you can tell they clearly added it as a gimmick since there really is nothing you can do while swimming other than just diving underwater to obtain random items, that just being mainly trash, quite literally. Quick select is another feature that was lost in the game. Before, you were able to assign which skill you wanted to equip to a D-pad direction and then use it on the fly when in combat. Kiryu's unique Dragon of Dojima job requires the use of the directional pad to change the stances in combat. Therefore, I think the feature was removed to not interfere with that new feature. I did find it very useful in the previous game. On the other hand, they probably removed it so that the game, UI or mechanics don't become too bloated. I think the normal difficulty was too easy for me and it felt like they should have made all bond links and chapter bosses have unique attributes to them so that they are actually challenging. I'm just gonna say the only challenge I've experienced in this game during my first playthrough was just the dungeon bosses. Overall, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth brings new and improved thrilling gameplay mechanics when it comes down to their second iteration of the turn-based combat to the forefront. I just know that when they develop the third entry, they can reuse and improve what they have done right now to make it even more engaging and fun. But right now, I just can't wait to play New Game Plus later down the line after I complete the Big Swell DLC. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think about this game in the comments below. Until next time, bye for now.